What I'm going to do now is talk you through how to do the Bay Park. Now you'll usually get the Bay Park at the beginning of your test. Sometimes you'll get it at the end. So let's talk you through it as if you're starting your driving test and your vehicle is in its bay ready to go. So the examiner will ask you to drive out to the left or to the right and stop with your wheels straight and then reverse back into any one of the bays. So we're going to do it coming from the left side, that's the most common. Now before you go out and do the manoeuvre, you don't want to jump in straight away. Just get your mindset right. Think about the technique that your instructor's taught you. Now the technique I'm going to teach you today is full lock to the left when we use a focal point in line with one of the white lines. It's quite an easy one and it generally works on most hatchback cars. So I've got my technique in my mind, so I'm ready to go. So I'm going to start with the POM routine. So clutch down fully. I'm going to palm the gear lever into first gear. I'm going to set the gas gently so I get a light engine revs in the background, and I'm going to ease the clutch up to the biting point so I get a light tug at the front of the car. Now once you've got that, I want to look all around me. So left shoulder, left door mirror, interior mirror, looking ahead, right door mirror and then right shoulder. If it's clear, I'll release the handbrake. Now I'm going to go out forwards first and then I'm going to turn left. So basically you want to leave quite a lot of clearance between yourself, your vehicle and the bay. Now on the approach, I'll just check my mirror and then I'll just straighten my wheels. Really important that you straighten your wheels before you stop, because if you don't, you could end up going back into or towards the bays that you just come from, and you might not want to do that straight away. It's important that you get your focal point right. I'm going to stop, put it into reverse. So my reverse light's showing now. I'm now going to do the POM routine again. So setting the gas, finding the biting point. And this time I'm going to start my observations over my right shoulder, right door mirror, looking ahead, interior mirror, left door mirror, and then left shoulder. I'm going to reverse back very slowly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back very, very slowly until my focal point on my passenger door looks in line with one of the white lines. So I'm going to stop about there. It's important when you're reversing backwards you keep the vehicle speed slow so you're able to look all around you. Now normally as you get better you won't have to stop, but for the moment I'm going to stop so I can show you your focal point. Now I'm going to use these red dots and they look in line with the white line at the moment for me. Now when they're in line with the white line, that's when you're going to turn full lock to the left. If you do end up stopping, then just pull your handbrake up. Now I'm going to look all around me. Now I'm changing my observation, so I'm finishing on the right shoulder because the front of my car is going to swing out in that direction. So my last check's my right shoulder, it's clear. And then I'm going to move back slowly and full lock with the steering to the left. Keep your head scanning all around you. If any vehicles do come towards you, you'll need to stop. It is their priority. You don't want to use your door mirrors just yet, but as the car comes round, keep the head scanning. And when it is almost straight from where you started, you're just going to pause and stop. Again, as you get better, you might not need to stop here. Now I've stopped, I'm just going to look in the door mirrors and I can see the white lines on both sides of my vehicle and the gap looks even. If it doesn't, you'll need to take a shunt, and I'll talk you through a shunt shortly. However, this looks perfect for me. I can see the white lines beside the car on both sides. So now I'm just going to double check what's around me, nothing around, and I'm going to get the car moving slowly, and then I'm going to straighten my wheels. Can you continue to look over your left shoulder, coming back into the bay, glancing in the door mirrors so that picture hasn't changed. It should look about a drain width both sides of the white lines. Keep looking over that left shoulder. If your vehicle speed does go a bit too fast, just push the clutch down and then brake gently. Once you've entered the bay and you're happy, you're in the bay fully, handbrake and then neutral. Now, to check that you are in the bay, you can use your door mirrors and sometimes that will help you judge how far you've gone back. Obviously looking over your left shoulder can help too. Sometimes you'll have brick walls or trees behind you, so it's probably an easier way to judge looking over your left shoulder. If you're really unsure, you can wind your window down and stick your head out, or once you've stopped, you can, as long as the handbrake and it's in neutral, you can just open up your door and check as well. Another heads up is looking beside your vehicle. You might have vehicles on either side of your car, and if you look at them, it's usually an easy way to judge whether you're in the bay if you've come back the same sort of distance that the vehicles beside you have as well. Now, a couple of things that I mentioned when I was doing the manoeuvre was vehicles approaching. Remember, it's their priority, so you will need to stop if they're coming towards you. By stopping, you're acknowledging that it's their priority, and then they're more likely to go around you. However, if they continue to wait, then just reset your observations to look all around you. If there's nobody there or nothing's changed, then you can proceed with caution. I also mentioned starting the manoeuvre with your wheels nice and straight. As I said before, if you don't, this technique won't work for you, because the first thing you've got to do is come back in a straight line and make sure your red dots, for me they're the red dots, it might be a door handle for you on your car, that needs to be in line with the white line. Other things that I didn't mention on the move was dry steering. You don't want to just turn the steering wheel when the car's not moving. This can damage the tread on your tyres and knock out the wheel alignment on your car. And on your test it's deemed as a minor fault doing the dry steering, so try and avoid that. So just keep your car moving slowly when you're turning the wheel. When you're coming into the bays, just make sure you're definitely going into your bay and you're not cutting across another bay. There could be vehicles beside you, the bay that you're going into, and obviously that means you're going to hit another vehicle. So you've got to imagine that there's vehicles beside you, even if they're not there. So don't go over those white lines. If you do realise you're going into them or cutting across, just stop before you come too far back. Put it into first gear, reset your observations, and then take a shunt out. So you can go out, back out to the left, or go forwards. Obviously, depending on your position, will determine which direction you take your shunt. Now, a shunt is perfectly acceptable on your test. The whole idea of a shunt is to give you enough space, so then when you go back into reverse and go backwards, you've got space now to adjust your vehicle going into the bay, and so you're not going across white lines and potentially hitting other vehicles. Observations. Obviously, you can get so boggled down with your technique on the manoeuvre that you looking in the door mirrors for the white lines, that you can miss looking over your left shoulder and looking all around you. So keep that head scanning all the time, and remember, don't forget to keep looking over that left shoulder, especially when you're coming back into the bay. When you go to move out to start your test, obviously you've just completed the Bay Park, but just bear in mind there might be other tests beside you that are about to move off. So really common is people forget to look all around them, and then they move out just as another learner's moving out to start their test as well, and then one of the learners on their test's got to give and haul back there, both going at the same time. You both could end up failing your test. So obviously just do that 360 and make sure you're the only vehicle moving out of the bay. If you see someone else that might be doing it at the same time, just make eye contact, and obviously if they're not looking at you, then you're going to wait and let them go first. Just remember, when you're doing the manoeuvre, you are welcome to stop at various times. Say you hear something in the background, it might be a car or pedestrian, you're not sure, but you've heard something, just clutch down, foot on the brake, and then find out where it's coming from. It's much better that you do that than find out when that vehicle or pedestrian's got too close to your vehicle, and obviously the examiner could deem that as a serious fault because you haven't seen that coming towards you. So clutch down, stop, and find out where it's coming from. Also, on your focal points, just stop if you need to. Again, look all around you before you start turning the steering wheel though. The examiner won't mark you down if you're stopping just before you're turning. Obviously if you start stopping every couple of centimetres, then that's a bit over the top, but when it comes to turning the steering wheel another direction, there's no harm in just pausing, looking all around you before you turn the wheel. And that helps you if you're not very good at your manoeuvres. You know, some people are better than others. Some people's spatial awareness, coordination is naturally better than others. So keep it nice and simple if you find it tough, and stop when you need to. Lastly, if the examiner just sits there like a stone once you finish the manoeuvre, take that as a hint something isn't quite right. And it's usually the position of your vehicle. It might be that it's not quite coming to the bay fully, or it's too much near the white line or on the white line. So what you need to do then is just take a shunt forwards and then come back so you're in the bay fully. If you're not quite in the bay, then obviously just look all around you and then just do that little bit of extra reversing until you're in the bay fully. But they're not trying to trick you when they remain quiet. If you pulled the handbrake up and it's in neutral and they still remain quiet, that's their sort of way of saying, look, you need to double check something. Something isn't quite right with the position of your vehicle.